Orleans Santa Fe District of the Christian Brothers extends from Louisiana across Texas and New Mexico into Colorado. Its 130 active brothers and their 400 colleagues serve about 6,000 students in 9 high schools, 5 elementary schools, 1 college, and several other ministries. It is one of 8 districts in the United States and of 79 around the world. From the international headquarters in Rome, Brother John Johnston, Superior General, oversees some 9,000 brothers in 81 countries. He is aided by 6 general counselors, one of whom is Brother Gennaro Ugarte, Vicar General. Each district is headed by a brother visitor appointed by the Superior General. In the New Orleans Santa Fe District, this is Brother Wayne Biggery, in office since 1987. He is advised by 9 counselors, 3 of whom are auxiliary visitors named at his request by the Superior General. The history of the Christian Brothers goes back over 300 years to Reims, France. There, in 1680, a diocesan priest named John Baptist de la Salle undertook the operation of free primary schools for poor boys. To maintain a steady supply of good teachers, he founded the Brothers. When he died in 1719, he left only 100 brothers, but they were well organized and had a clear sense of their identity and their mission in the church. In 1837, when they were growing rapidly in France, they ventured to Montreal, Canada, where they began the District of North America. They opened a school in Baltimore in 1845, in New York in 1848, in St. Louis as St. Mary's Academy in 1856, and as St. Mary's College in 1858. During his visit in 1865, Brother Facile created the District of New Orleans with his own novitiate. St. Mary's College soon had so many boarders that Brother Facile set in motion the opening of Pass Christian College in Mississippi in 1866. Yellow fever struck again in 1867 and claimed 18 brothers. Again, Brother Facile sent more brothers to keep the schools going. Pass Christian College granted its first degrees in 1870, St. Mary's in 1871, and the brothers were teaching in 2 academies and 4 parochial schools in New Orleans. They had answered calls, sometimes for only a few years, to teach in Brownsville and Galveston, Texas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and St. Augustine, Florida. Suddenly, everything came to a halt in 1873. A major depression closed all New Orleans banks except one, and uncontrollable floods destroyed almost all Louisiana crops. Enrollment dropped so low in the colleges that they could not pay their debts, and many pastors could no longer pay the brothers. Pass Christian College went bankrupt and closed in March 1875. In June, the brother visitor closed St. Mary's in New Orleans and withdrew the brothers from all the remaining schools. The District of New Orleans was no more. Most of the brothers were assigned to other districts. However, a few persuaded the visitor of St. Louis to allow them to hold on in the South. They tried in Mobile, Alabama in 1875 for 2 years, and then in several of their former schools in New Orleans until they finally succeeded at St. Joseph's Commercial Academy in 1885. Again, financial problems forced them to withdraw in 1900. Thus ended a half-century of Christian Brothers education in the Deep South. For the origin of the current New Orleans Santa Fe District, we must follow Archbishop Lamy to Santa Fe. Soon after he arrived in 1851, he began planning schools for his predominantly Indian and Hispanic population. He obtained Sisters of Loretta in 1852 and recruited Christian brothers directly from his native France. When 4 of them arrived in 1859, he gave them historic San Miguel Mission and several nearby adobe buildings where they opened St. Michael's College. In 1867, Archbishop Lamy obtained more brothers from France for schools in Mora and Taos, and the superiors created the District of Santa Fe. In 1870, they sent a dynamic young brother named Botulf as visitor, and he guided the brothers into schools for 36 years. A native of Germany, Brother Botulf had joined the brothers in Montreal in 1852 and had been supervisor of their schools in New York since 1868. He opened St. Nicholas School in Bernalillo in 1872 and La Salle Institute in Las Vegas, New Mexico in 1888. To expand the boarding school in Santa Fe, he put up a large 3-story adobe building and recruited boarders throughout the Southwest. He constantly battled 2 major problems: getting enough brothers and keeping them from boredom and discouragement brought on by their isolation from the rest of the country. He made them escape to the United States, where they were distributed among the 4 American districts. In 1916, the superiors gave the 3 New Mexico schools to these French brothers as a base for re-entering Mexico. Soon after, French priests in South Louisiana persuaded them to open schools there: New Iberia and Covington in 1918, Lafayette in 1919. Candidates from both Louisiana and New Mexico began entering the new novitiate and preparatory novitiate in Las Vegas, New Mexico. The brothers seized this opportunity to form the schools from these 2 states into the modern New Orleans-Santa Fe district in 1921. In 1923, the brothers started a teacher training school for their young brothers in Las Vegas and called it Sacred Heart Training College. They also opened a preparatory novitiate in Lafayette and moved the novitiate there in 1927. In rapid succession, they opened or accepted schools in 5 other cities: El Paso, Texas, and Franklin, Louisiana in 1925, Lake Charles, Louisiana in 1927, Galveston, Texas, and Denver, Colorado in 1931. 10 years after its founding, the new district had 4 houses of formation and 10 schools, 6 in the South and 4 in the Southwest. From 70 founding brothers, French, Mexican, and New Mexican, they had increased to 121. A major challenge that the district faced in the 1930s was the new requirement by the states that all teachers have college degrees. All the brothers had received teacher training, but few had degrees. All of a sudden, the district had to provide a college education for most of its members and for all of its new candidates. While the other American districts had their own colleges to meet this challenge, New Orleans-Santa Fe did not and had to find other ways. Most brothers earned their degrees over a period of years by taking evening, weekend, and summer courses at various Catholic and state colleges, principally St. Mary's University in San Antonio, Texas, or by extension courses from Manhattan College in New York or Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. However, the district wanted a single permanent program for its young brothers, and in the 1940s took means to open its own college. That historic event happened in 1947 in Santa Fe with the opening of St. Michael's College as a 4-year college operating under the charter that Brother Botulph had obtained from the territorial legislature in 1874. The moving force behind this opening was Brother Benildus Avant, one of the first recruits from Lafayette. He was president of the college until his sudden death in 1957. As the district grew, American brothers soon outnumbered the French, and in 1949 the first American-born visitor was appointed, Brother Richard Hernandez, who had been in the 2nd grade at St. Peter's in New Iberia when the brothers opened there in 1918. In 1947, the brothers sold Sacred Heart Training College in Las Vegas, New Mexico to the public school district, which immediately asked them to open a public high school there. The brothers did so, but withdrew in 1951 as part of a mass exodus resulting from a court decision. When New Mexico became a state in 1912 and public education was mandated by the Constitution, the only schools in many cities were Catholic schools. At the request of local public school boards, the Archbishop allowed many of them to become part of the public system while remaining as Catholic as before. A lawsuit against one of the districts ended with the 1949 state Supreme Court decision banning the teaching of religion and the displaying of religious symbols in public schools. Hence, all brothers, sisters, and priests withdrew from the public schools in 1951. Enrollment in all the schools grew rapidly after World War II and created a construction boom. The increasing number of brothers made possible the opening or staffing of 7 schools between 1949 and 1964. De La Salle High School and Mater Dolorosa Parochial School in New Orleans, Academy of the Immaculate Conception in Opelousas, La Salle High School and Antonian High School in San Antonio, Christian Brothers School in New Orleans, and Rummel High School in Metairie. Between 1963 and 1975, the brothers withdrew from the schools in Lake Charles, Franklin, Opelousas, Galveston, and San Antonio. De La Salle and Rummel became the largest schools in the district, with enrollments usually above 1,000. Both began as college prep, but added programs for the educationally handicapped after 19 teachers, but now only one brother teaches there. Several brothers teach at Cathedral Carmel School, a pre-K through 8th grade school with over 700 students and a lay principal who is an affiliated member of the brothers. St. Michael's in Santa Fe relocated in 1967, closed its boarding section, and became co-ed. The brothers operate San Miguel Mission as a tourist attraction. Revenues from the mission and an endowment provide financial aid to needy students. The nearby College of Santa Fe, as St. Michael's College was renamed in 1966, serves approximately 1,000 students, almost half of them Hispanic and American Indian. Some 70% of them receive loans or grants from the federal and state governments, the college, or the brothers. Though the brothers are a small minority both in administration and on the faculty, they contribute a distinctive LaSallian character. Cathedral High School in El Paso serves an almost 100% Spanish-speaking student body. The only all-male Catholic high school in this 300-year-old border town of 500,000, the school draws its enrollment from both sides of the border. For many years after the brothers took over the J.K. Mullen Home for Boys in Denver, they continued to operate the dairy and farm attached to it, partially with student labor. As other social agencies replaced orphanages, the school became J.K. Mullen High School, which attracts about 400 college-bound boys from southwest Denver. While the thrust of the district has been toward high schools, it has ventured into others. Christian Brothers School in New Orleans is a middle school for boys whose parents are willing to pay extra for smaller classes and a nearly 100% Christian Brother faculty. It has always had a capacity enrollment and is a financial mainstay of the district. Christian Brothers Academy opened in New Orleans in 1976 for 7th and 8th graders with problems learning in large groups. Class size is limited to 7. Most of the teachers are semi-retired brothers. Their student success in high school gives witness to the value of the school. In 1978, the district assigned a brother to Houston to help a group of lay people found Marian Christian High School, a private Catholic co-ed high school for both college-bound and non-college-bound students. The district gave up the administration in 1987, but provides brothers for the faculty and staff. Since the late 1960s, a number of brothers have undertaken projects for dropouts, the learning disabled, prisoners, and residents of low-income housing. 2 brothers at Hope House in New Orleans form a community with sisters to serve the poor in a housing project. In 1984, the district chose a small, all-black Catholic school in Shreveport, Louisiana for further direct service to the poor. In 1988, the district moved this service to New Orleans, where a new community includes brothers working at Hope House, a Vietnamese brother working with his countrymen, a brother working at a shelter for homeless men, and 2 brothers teaching an all-black inner-city St. Alphonsus parochial school. The district began soliciting and sending volunteers to Third World countries after World War II. It sent several to Central America and the Philippines and has at all times had at least one in each area. One brother served in the Congo in the 1960s, one in Ethiopia in the 1970s, and one began in Nigeria in 1987. In response to the new rule approved by the Holy See and to the mandates of its 41st General Chapter in 1986, the district is seeking means of expanding its direct service to the poor in the Third World. In the process, it will need to keep on increasing the number of lay teachers and administrators in the existing schools. To help these people maintain St. John Baptist de La Salle's ideals, Brother Wayne Viggory gave his auxiliary visitor, Brother Jeff Callaghan, the responsibility of providing retreats and in-service programs on de La Salle and his spirituality to faculties and other groups in the schools. Like their confreres in 78 other districts around the world, the Brothers of the New Orleans Santa Fe District are grappling with the meaning and the manner of exercising their educational ministry in a culture and in a church that both differ dramatically from those of De La Salle's late 17th, early 18th century France. Their new rule followed Vatican II and officially extended their educational ministry to helping the Christian laity fulfill their responsibility for the evangelization of their neighbor. The brothers now have both an official approval of their practice of sharing their ministry with lay people and a mandate to expand the practice. The brothers need and call on their colleagues, their alumni, parents of their students, and all their friends to share this responsibility with them.